Good morning, Uganda. It's a beautiful Wednesday to have conversations on the cooperative movement of Uganda. And as always, we have, of course, the usual suspect in studio. But today in particular, we are looking at affordable and accessible finance through the cooperative bank. And in studio with me, I'll start with the one who's new to the set, at least for as long as I've done this, I've had this conversation, and that is Mr. Stephen Mugumya Bugonzia, who is the Vice Chairman of Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit Union. And then head over to the usual suspect, that is CPA Ivan Asimwe, who is the General Secretary of Uganda Cooperative Alliance. Good morning, and thank you so much for watching UBC. Welcome to this conversation as we look at cooperative banking in Uganda, plus the baby that CPA Ivan always talks about, the cooperative bank, which is an achievement, if you ask me, for the cooperative movement in Uganda. Save the number like I shared earlier, 0709602592. It's a WhatsApp number, only able to text it, not call it. And when you text, we are able to see your comment, your question, your opinion on the matter, the topic that we are going to talk about. And please send it for as long as we are on the screen and within the window that we have, so that we are able to engage it, not when we are closing. But once again, thank you so much. And good morning, starting with you, Ivan. Good morning.
Good morning, Jury. I'm really very happy to be here, and good morning, all our viewers. I'm really happy to be here.
Yes, Mr. Stephen Mugumya, thank you for coming. Good morning.
Good morning, Jury, and I'm happy to be here.
Right.
Good morning, viewers.
I will start right away with this question, and it's to the both of you, starting with you, Ivan, and this is to pick both of you, your 2 cents from the different offices that you handle. What does affordable and accessible finance really mean when it comes to the Ugandan setting of cooperative
Thank
context?
you so much, Jury, once again, and all our viewers, and especially the cooperators. I know so many cooperators are now watching. You know how they like UBC?
Wow.
Oh, and because of their baby,
yes,
the cooperative bank, everybody is watching. I wish we could count 1, 2, 3. You would see.
They should just send in their chats of I'm live on 0709.
And we are really very happy with UBC for giving us such an opportunity.
All right.
You know, cooperatives, I always tell people, I went to a circle in 2003, 15th of March, Saturday, 8 a.m. That's when I reported as a cashier of the circle. But you could not even tell a person that I work in the circle. They would brand you an academic dwarf. They could not imagine that an educated person would work in a circle. Why? Because cooperatives were just undercover. You could not talk about cooperatives. They could not believe that a land person would associate with a cooperative. Whenever you talk about cooperatives, they look at the poor, the uneducated, such things. But I'm very happy you have really given us a platform as UBC. For us to really tell this country and tell the entire world that we cannot transform this economy without championing the cooperative model. Because one, Uganda is an agro-based economy, and almost 70% of our population is employed there in the agricultural sector. And more than 60% to 70% of these farmers are smallholder farmers. So how do you support them for them to be able to produce, access services, aggregate, add value, and collectively market? Then you need an approach that brings them together, which is a cooperative model. Short of that, they remain servants and slaves of the middlemen. So this one, really, UBC has contributed a lot towards liberating the cooperative movement and also the economy. Back to your question.
Right.
Now, the biggest challenge that we are facing, we have so many challenges as farmers. And not only farmers, everybody, including myself as a CPA, including you, Julie, as a media person, a journalist, engineers, doctors, everybody, we all have this challenge, which is access to affordable and appropriate finance. Now, when you talk about affordability, it is in terms of cost. What is the cost implication? You want a loan, for example. I'm a coffee farmer. You need a loan to grow coffee. How much is the cost of this loan? And we all know that the cost of our loans here in Uganda is very high compared to the expected returns. So that's why you find most businesses are collapsing, because we lack patient capital. You want to start the coffee business, you know, growing, putting in a seedling in the soil, to the time of starting to harvest is around 2 to 3 years. Now, within that period, you need to start paying back the loan and the interest. Remember, you are paying back, but you have not even started getting returns from this coffee. So how is the cost of capital? Is a very big challenge. So the cost implication is the affordability. Is it affordable? In fact, what banks would be doing is, Julie, if you want a loan, for example, and you want to do business, then the bank should be sitting with you as a client, and you do your computations together and look at your cash flows. Look at your expected cash flows vis-a-vis the expected revenues, the expected profits, and then match it with the interest. If they find that you are not going to break even, they would rather advise you, Julie, don't take this loan, because you are going to lose everything. But do you think we reach that far? You just go to a bank to borrow, you find a book big like this, they say sign here, you don't even read. You know, when you want money, even as the educated, you don't read. Sign here, and you find you have put a rope in your neck and you are not aware. Tomorrow you fail to pay, your land goes. So that is affordability. Then appropriateness is you are comparing the loan period with the expected period of return. For example, you grow coffee. I like coffee so much because I grow coffee. You are taking a loan from the bank to go and start the coffee business. But how long does it take for coffee to mature so that you start getting the returns? 3 years. However, you get a loan today from a bank. This is July. August, you are supposed to start paying. The question is, where does the bank expect you to start to get the money to pay back? So in other words, you will find banks are saying we are giving out agricultural loans, but ideally these are not agricultural loans. Because you cannot tell me it's an agricultural loan when you want me to start paying using my salary. Better call it a salary loan, because I am paying back using my salary. So ideally, appropriateness would be that you are giving Ivan a loan, and you sit together. Before I take this loan, I tell you, I am going to grow coffee, and I expect to start harvesting after 3 years. Then you say, okay, we are giving you a grace period of 3 years. You go, do your business, and then after 3 years, start paying. And even structuring the interest should be clear. That's why you find here, it is very hard for Ugandans to invest. Not because they have not studied economics, not because they don't have the brains, but we lack appropriate capital. That is the capital that is targeted towards the gestation period, and we also lack affordable capital because the cost of borrowing is very high. Julie, I have borrowed myself, and with my profession, but you go there, they tell you the interest rate is 18%. For you are comfortable, but take your time and look at the intrinsic costs, the other costs which are hidden. The insurance, the valuation, whichever, so many costs. Compound them together. Julie, you cannot borrow in this country. It's very expensive. And that is why we are saying as cooperators, based on this, let's have a bank. We have circles. Do you know how circles are helping people? I have worked in a circle from cashiering to general manager for 9 years. And I saw how the common person, the rural people, can access money.
Right. Thank you very much, CPA Ivan. And I will still now come to you, Stephen. What does, according to your office and your docket, what does affordable and accessible financing really mean when it comes to the context of cooperative movement in Uganda?
Thank you, host, and thank you, viewers out there. In terms of accessibility, because this is part of our today's discussion, we are looking at that wide range of financial services which are beyond the traditional financial services, which most of us have been used to. Because when you walk to a bank or a financial institutions, usually you're interested in depositing or in saving, but also for those who may not have enough capital, they're interested in borrowing. So these are the traditional financial services that most of our financial institutions provide. Now, those are restricted to a certain class of financial institutions. But since we are talking about a bank, the moment we go to a bank, you are looking at savings, you are looking at various forms of credit in form of loans, in form of overdrafts, in form of other types of advances. But banks go beyond that because they also facilitate international trade. They engage in buying and selling of foreign currency. Banks also engage in insurance through what they call bank assurance. We are looking at facilitating payment systems through debit cards, credit cards, bankers' drafts, checks through the clearing house. So all these constitute what we call the range of financial services which we are looking at. Now, these services may be there, but are they accessible? Accessible in form of terms and conditions. Yes, can the ordinary farmer, as my colleague is saying, can the ordinary farmer from the village in Shema, from Vundubujo, can this ordinary farmer access those financial services? Can the ordinary farmer access the different types of loans that he or she wants to do whatever income generating activities they are doing? So yes, the financial services might be there, but are they accessible? Usually it is, we look at the terms and conditions. If it's a loan, do you have the traditional collateral, a land title? And beyond what my colleague is saying, because even if you have a land title, in most cases that land title should have a valuation report. So I should be able to know how much, if I'm to sell, in case you are distressed with the loan, if I'm to sell, how much I can generate from this. Yeah, so all sorts of terms and conditions are associated with lending or with borrowing. Right. So the financial services might be there, but are they accessible? If they're accessible, which form of institution will be the most appropriate for the cooperator? In our view, in our conviction, it is the cooperative bank. So we believe that the cooperative bank, which we have started to form, is the most suitable institution enabled to facilitate increased accessibility to financial services, the range of financial services which I have already talked about. Now, when it comes to affordability, my colleague talked about it. When we borrow, usually there is an interest rate which we sign for in the loan agreement. We call it the nominal interest rate. But in addition to the interest which we pay on loans, we also pay a host of other costs, including loan application fees, you have appraisal fees, then you have processing fees, all sorts of hidden costs, insurance, monitoring fees. Some of them are paid upfront before you touch the money. Others are paid on an ongoing basis. So as you pay an installment, you also pay some money. It's so many costs. So when you add up all these costs, we come up with what we call the effective rate of borrowing. So in the context of a cooperative bank, will this be possible? Yes. A cooperative bank, in our case, and we are convinced, should be able to provide more affordable financial services to the members or to the clients, because one, the source of funding is actually the members themselves. We, the members, under our cooperative principles, provide principle number 3, which is member economic participation. We, the members of the institution, provide the capital required for this institution to operate. And since we provide this capital, then we control the institution, which is not like the situation in, for example, the ordinary commercial bank. Now, if we are the source of the funds, and we are the users of the funds, then it now motivates us to control the rate and other costs at which we access this money. There is a saying that he who pays the piper calls the tune. So if I give you money, then I will tell you how much, at what rate I should be able to borrow, at what rate you should be lending to my colleagues in a cooperative society or in the cooperative setting.
Right.
So,
thank you very much. And I will stay with you, Stephen Mugumya, as you help us understand the difference between the operations of a SACCO bank and the baby, the Uganda Cooperative Bank operations. But that will be after I read a couple of the comments that are coming in. The number is 0709602592. And somebody comes through and says, hello, good morning, UBC. This is Patrick Komakech here, a member of Northern Uganda Acholi Region Business SACCO. Cooperative Association has really helped us grow in our businesses here in Gulu City. That is a vote of thanks. Thank you so much. And I'm Kimaleni Michael, watching you live from Bududa District. Professionally, I'm a teacher. In 1 year, and 1 year I chanced to be in Rwanda. But I tell you, Julie, that the country is developing gradually because of SACCOs, until I regretted why I went for a teaching profession. In fact, let the visitors give us their phone numbers for consultation. And somebody here comes through and says, what is the criteria of getting a bank loan as a farmer? And then afterwards they say, thank you, Mr. Asimwe. Getting loans is not easy. And finally, good morning, Uganda. I'd like to know from those gentlemen, what's the least payback time and longest time for a cooperative loan? Again, are there efforts to extend awareness to the public about cooperatives? This is Edson from Entebbe. So I will pose this particular question, or Edson's question, to you, Stephen, I think, but let's start with understanding the difference of the operations between a SACCO bank and then the Uganda Cooperative Bank's operation.
Thank you, host. Actually, let me clarify this because we actually have a SACCO, which is a savings and credit cooperative, not a SACCO bank.
Right.
So a savings and credit cooperative, in terms of the cooperative hierarchy or the structure of cooperative societies or the cooperative system, a SACCO is a primary cooperative whose members are a minimum of 30, I mean individual or members. So when you look at the financial services which a SACCO is permitted to provide, it's basically savings, both what we call demand or site savings and fixed term deposits, or what we call fixed deposits. Now, in terms of lending, SACCOs generally provide loans. They do not provide beyond loans. But we are also seeing SACCOs providing more financial services in partnership with other organizations, including insurance services. Now, in banks, when a bank provides insurance services in partnership with an insurance company, we call it bank assurance. Now, in the context of SACCOs, we are talking about SACCO assurance. So where you have bank, you now put SACCOs. So the two, which is savings and credit, are the core financial services, but we add other services like insurance. But when you look at the range of financial services provided by a SACCO, it is actually very narrow compared to a bank. And in between, by the way, a bank and a SACCO, we have other categories of financial institutions. We have the microfinance deposit-taking institutions, which are tier 3 according to the structure of financial services in Uganda, and between the MDIs, like Finca and Ugaford, between the MDIs and the banks, we also have what we call credit institutions. We used to have, I think, Opportunity Bank went back to credit institutions. These are institutions which basically do not concentrate. The principal business is credit. They are called credit institutions, but of course they also provide saving services. So my point is that a SACCO provides a narrow range of financial services, while a bank provides a much wider range of financial services.
All right. And to answer Edson from Entebbe, who said that he would like to know what's the least payback time and longest time for a cooperative loan is, and again, are the efforts to extend awareness to the public about cooperatives. That is still to you, Stephen.
Oh, yes. The longest and shortest period for paying a cooperative loan generally in financial services, we call that a loan term or loan period. Now, this varies. The periods vary depending on the type of loan you are taking. If you are taking a loan to grow cabbages, or you are in horticulture, I'd rather give you a loan of 3 to 4 months, because by that time you'll have grown and harvested the product. But if you are taking a loan to grow coffee, then it can go up to 3 years. If you are taking a loan for a border, usually we give 2 years. Because we expect that by that time you should have been able to fully repay the loan and interest. So it really depends on the loan product you are taking. But should I suffice to say that in most of the SACCOs, long-term loans are not common. We have been restricted to short-term loans because I know CPS will try to talk about it. We do what we call matching. The period I give you should match with the period as a borrower, should match the period which I'm given as as a borrower from another source, because the money we are giving you is not our money. This money is either from a member or from, I have got it from a loan, either from a commercial bank or from microfinance, from a financial institution. So if I'm given as a SACCO or a lender, if I have got money which I should be paying back in 1 year, then I cannot extend to you a loan which will be paid in more than 1 year. Because by the time the owner of the money comes, this money should be here for me to pay it back. So
all right.
It really depends.
Thank you very much. 0709602592 is the WhatsApp number. And I know CPA Ivan has quite a lot to say, but let me start with this question for you, Ivan. When it comes to the new cooperative bank, and the process of having it come to exist, what are those gaps that you noticed along the process and impactful reforms that are needed for the betterment?
Oh, thank you so much, moderator. Before I proceed to that, I just want to add something on the other question.
Right.
And first of all, I want to thank the people who have sent in their messages. You can really see that the cooperators are very much interested. Everybody is watching. I tell you, some people have started carrying screens in the gardens. Don't ask me about how they get their power. But someone calls and I will say, I'm now in my castle garden, but I have my screen here.
Right.
Of course, they go with the phones. Now they have smartphones.
Mobiles,
they are watching. So the loan period is dependent on certain factors. One is the type of the product. SACCOs have different products. Like for my case, when I was still a general manager, we had emergency loans where you could apply today and you get it in the evening. And it would be short term, like for 1 month, for 3 months. That's short term. There are others like medical. Like they call you at this time, you know, your child has been admitted. That's also emergency. Very fast. School fees. Your child has been sent away from school. So the mother comes, please process for me an emergency within 3 months. When my child is coming back home, I will have paid off. Then we have like these agricultural loans where you need to appraise. So it is dependent on the product, it's dependent on the SACCO policy, it's dependent on availability of funds. So there is no standard that it is 1 year or 2 years. No, it is dependent on those factors. Now, I want to go back to your question. Of course, a cooperative bank is a bank that is there for cooperators. And all cooperators are in sectors of the economy. Talk about agriculture, finance, these are SACCOs, energy, health, transport, mining, forestry, tourism, they're everywhere. So meaning that you need a bank that is going to listen, because cooperators are the owners. You know, the beauty with this cooperative bank is that you own it. You know, what you own, Julie, is different from what is owned by your neighbor. You can't call my vehicle your vehicle. But if it is your vehicle, it is mine. I can start it or I can decide not to start it. That's why cooperatives are beautiful. Because they are member-owned, member-controlled, member-used, and benefiting members. Unlike these other banks, which are companies, where Ivan is a saver, but I'm not a shareholder. So I cannot dictate. But in a cooperative bank, I dictate as a cooperative because I have shares. They invite me for general meeting. We are the people to determine the interest. This is what we want. These are the terms we want. You see, this is Kanokange in Uganda. It's mine. So I control it, I use it, I own it, and that is the beauty with the cooperative bank. So that is why we are calling upon all cooperatives. And I'm very happy with Ukusku. Because Ukusku here, he's the vice chairperson of Ukusku, which is Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit Union. It's a national union for SACCOs under Uganda Cooperative Alliance, which is the apex body. You see our structure? That is the structure. For us, we are for all, including SACCOs. But this one specifically is for SACCOs. So here, when we are talking about the bank, then the SACCOs, they play a bigger role because they have money.
Right.
But their money is being wasted somewhere. It is being taken by some other people, which we can actually consolidate and have a bank. But for this bank to progress, we need an enabling environment. This is a unique institution, and we are calling upon government. We have started engagements, much as our baby is born, but we want our baby to grow, not to die in the infancy stage. And because this is not commercial, it's not targeting profits, but it is looking at addressing the gaps that you have asked me. Number one gap is the money accessible. Some people want loans, but they cannot access loans. Why? Because they don't have the capacity to borrow. This is my mother in the village. She wants a loan, but does she have a title? Does she have a guarantor or a surety? But when the cooperative bank is there, it will be working through the cooperative structures. That is the uniqueness of a cooperative bank. We are not going to be seated in Kampala on Nkuruma Road. No, it will go through the cooperative structures. For example, we have a SACCO in Kabgohe, which is Mohammed. So this bank will directly work with Mohammed for the people of Shema to access this money through Mohammed SACCO, but money coming through the cooperative bank. Are you seeing the beauty with it? This is how cooperative banks operate. So now we need that legal framework that will allow this bank to operate through those structures. So that if you are, let's say, in Moyo, you don't need to come to Kampala or to go to Nebi. You go through Moyo SACCO. So the bank, now if you want money, you just go through Moyo SACCO, and as you are there, you just come. You don't need to speak a lot of English because the SACCO is there in the community. You use your own language, then it is easy to access this money. And for that matter, that's why we're saying, let us have an enabling environment. The other gap that is there, we talked about appropriateness. They are giving you money to go and start poultry. Poultry, you can start getting returns after 6 months. Now, but these other commercial banks and MFIs are giving a loan today, which is July. They want to start paying in August. Literally, you have not earned any coin from this project. So, but the cooperative bank will give you a grace period. Then, like the former cooperative bank was working, it had what they called crop finance. Crop finance in the sense that you are a farmer, like now coffee. We are waiting for, I think we shall start harvesting. Is it late December? When?
We already harvesting.
The harvesting season is over.
Almost over.
Now, so we shall wait for another month, about 4 or 6 months, for us to start harvesting. Now, in that period, you have a problem. You need school fees.
Yes.
You need medical and others. Where do you get the money? Now, in that context, the gap which is there, farmers have started selling gardens. You know, you sell coffee before it even flowers because of poverty. Now, a middleman will just come to your field, coffee field, and will determine the price by himself. And then you surrender your coffee before it even flowers. And once the coffee is ready, the middleman will come. He paid you less money. You can imagine he paid you 1 million, but he's harvesting coffee worth 20 million. But now the cooperative bank would be there to bridge this gap by providing you crop finance, and then you comfortably wait for your coffee. Another thing is the stabilization fund, whereby these farmers, when they are doing collective marketing, they will go to the cooperative bank. It is working elsewhere. You go to Netherlands. Like now the price of coffee has dropped. It would give you a stabilization fund, so that even if the prices fall, you don't have a problem. Because this is a bank which is working for cooperatives. So they give you that stabilization fund, and you are able to continue with your business without getting bothered with the changes in pricing. So ideally, these are some of the gaps that then also look at the quality of the people who are going to borrow. Like I've told you, SACCOs, the study by Bank of Uganda shows that SACCOs and mobile money have increased the financial access or financial inclusion in this country. Why? Because even the common person, the rural person, has the capacity now to go to a SACCO, deposit some money, and even get a loan. which was never there before. I
Right.
would tell you, my father had money, but he didn't have an account in a bank because the banker was in Mbarara. So you can imagine you have 10,000 to deposit. Are you going to come from Rukunjiri to come to Mbarara to deposit? No way. The transport even is more than what you want to deposit.
Yes.
But now the SACCO is near in the community. And now the government has made it much better that the SACCO is at a parish level.
Right.
So you are in the garden the whole day. In the evening, Julie, you just come, take your 1,000, go and deposit it. That is financial inclusion. So all these gaps are going to be addressed by the cooperative bank. And where we are set. In fact, even yesterday we had a meeting. Last week we had a steering committee meeting. And I'm calling upon all SACCOs, all cooperatives outside there. We want your board resolutions because we need their resolutions as boards. You know, in the cooperatives, if you are to invest, then the board must pass a resolution so that those resolutions are registered. So we shall need their resolutions so that for them to buy shares. I will tell you, SACCOs have already committed. A SACCO like Wazalendo has committed more than $1 billion.
Right.
Yes, in the SACCO. Exodus, the same. Parliamentary, the same. Ukusku, the same. UCA, the same. We are set, Julie.
Right.
You know, people are hungry for the cooperative bank.
Indeed they are, because there's a comment coming in. Good morning, cooperators. I'm Abasa Rubaromba, Chairman Banyankore Kweterana.
Yes.
Cooperative Union. I'm watching live from here, Mbarara. Thank you, UBC, for this opportunity. As cooperators, we are ready to support the idea of establishing the cooperative bank. Thank you so much for being on the show. Matete Sako, we are watching. When is the cooperative bank starting? We are ready to contribute the capital. And let me move on. Somebody comes through with a question. What amount of security do I need to get a loan? And if I don't have any security for the loan, but I have an investment plan, and I don't have the money, how can I be of help to get a loan? Ivan, could you please help
Oh,
answer
thank
that?
you so much. I want to thank, you see how people are appreciative. Everybody, Julie, you also need to come and be part of us.
Of course, of course.
Yes, we really need a bank. Do you know how cooperative banks are working elsewhere?
Right.
Just go to Rabobank Foundation in Netherlands. Can you imagine? Netherlands, this is a country below sea level, not created by God, created by the Dutch. But here is Uganda, which is a part of Africa, a country gifted by nature, but with poor people. If you were God, surely. I think God will punish us for this.
Right.
He gives you all this wealth and you are here crying. When other people in Netherlands, in coldness, below sea level, they have a cooperative bank which is worth 774.1 billion euros. This is the net worth of World Bank Foundation. You come to Germany. Germany, they have so many cooperative banks that have formed an association. You come to South Africa, they have 2 cooperative banks. You come to Kenya, the Kenya Cooperative Bank is a very big bank. You can imagine, over 700 billion Kenyan shillings, around 27.9 trillion Ugandan shillings. That's the net worth of the Cooperative Bank of Kenya. Tanzania, on the 28th of April 2025, they have launched their bank, the National Cooperative Bank of Tanzania. They combined 2 small cooperative banks and formed a giant. Now, globally, you have seen what is there. At the regional level, you have seen what is there. Ugandans, we must wake up.
Right.
This is the time, but I have the vigor that we are really moving forward. And I want to thank all of these people for the vigor and for coming up to form a bank. And let us move together.
Right.
Yes.
Now, let me come to you, Mr. Mogumia, and just ask whether there is a deliberate focus on youth, women, and of course agriculture within the affordable finance strategy of cooperatives and SACCOs in Uganda.
Yeah, thank you, moderator. It is true that cooperatives focus much more on the underserved communities, including women,
And the youth.
youth.
Right.
And we are also adding, by the way, refugees and persons with disabilities. So in most cooperatives, we have a deliberate strategy to focus on those excluded communities. And I know there is one of the respondents asked about security for a loan. Right. We know in most cases, women and youth persons with disabilities and refugees generally do not have access to security or collateral, which they would pledge to get a loan from financial institutions. So what are cooperatives doing? In most of the institutions that we deal with, we have developed a mechanism where women are served through groups. They are served through groups, so they guarantee each other. If one of the women fails to pay her loan, then the group comes in through their mechanism to make good of that loan. The same applies to the youth. So what we do in financial services or in cooperatives generally is we create categories of collateral which favor different types of groups. So you have what we call the traditional collateral. If you have a land title, it's okay, you bring it. But if you don't have a land title, then we can have collateral, what we call collateral substitutes. These are movable items which we technically call chattel items. You bring your mattress, you bring your TV, you bring your car, we shall accept it. But we also add guarantors. So those are the mechanisms which we use to reach out to those communities or those segments which ordinarily wouldn't have accessed financial services, especially loans from our institutions. So yes, we have a deliberate program or deliberate agenda to reach the underserved. Although you mentioned youth and women, yes, we add persons with disabilities and refugees.
Right.
Yes.
And indeed, to answer just for the satisfaction of this viewer who asked what amount of security do I need to get a loan, and if I don't have any security for the loan, but I have an investment plan and I don't have the money, how can I be helped?
You know, moderator, just to make a rejoinder, the beauty with I'm talking about circles, the beauty with savings and credit cooperative organizations is that they are within the communities. And that is why you'll find that the rate of financial inclusion has moved up, because people can even access loans. I'm talking from practical experience.
Right.
For 9 years in a circle, we are giving people without security. Because Julie is my neighbor. You get me?
Is the accountability?
Yes, he's my neighbor.
Yes.
Oh, like Stephen mentions, we use the group methodology, whereby especially women and in Kabale specifically, I worked in Kabale, you will find that the Bachiga women are so hardworking. So this is a woman who wants school fees, but does not have security, not even a tenth of an acre of land, but is getting a loan. How? We now say, form your niginas, these small groups, and each one will be guaranteeing the other. No security, we don't need land. Because we know you, every day, you find even someone digs just next to the circle.
Right.
So every day you greet her. So there is no need of saying, bring collateral, land title, such things. No, right. That is the beauty with it. I will give you a scenario whereby one of the women, I'm now giving a practical experience. One woman comes, I was a general manager for the circle, Ruchiga circle in Kabale. A woman comes from Kamwezi and says, I need a loan, and unfortunately, I lost my husband 10 years ago. And we said, oh, very sorry, widow, sorry. 1 week, the loans officer goes there to assess. Do you know what happened, Julie? You know, Kabale is here, there are these valleys. And within the valleys, you find they are distilling warage, this local blue. So as the man is crossing, the loans officer is going to assess a woman. The man, so when he reached where they distill this warage, he asked, for example, where is Julie's home? They said, you are going to Julie? Yes. No, but the husband is here. The loans officer got shocked. But the woman told us she's a widow, the husband died.
Right.
So the loans officer had to continue, and now the man says, let me go with you. So these drunkard men, let me go with you home. So they reached home. So when the woman sees the loans officer with his husband, she starts crying. She goes behind the house, and whispers to the loans officer that don't tell the man what you had come to do, just tell him that you're a visitor. The next day, the woman comes to the circle crying. She cried for like 30 minutes. And I said, Madam, why did you tell us that the husband died 10 years ago? And yet my loans officer tells me that the husband is there. The woman again cries for another 1 hour and says in Runyarwanda, Arafu yahagaze. My husband died when he's still alive. Can you imagine?
Yes.
So, to cut the story short, we do not, since then, we said we are going to give you money, no security, your brother will be your guarantor. I want to tell you, Julie, they invited me for the graduation. This woman was paying school fees for the children. They invited me. The children were very intelligent. They are now, there is a lawyer, there is an engineer, there is a doctor, there is an accountant. So I'm now the father in the home. And she told the children that you were able to study because of Ivan Asimwe, the general manager, who accepted me in my poverty without security. I have now graduates. The woman is very rich now with a vehicle. They have bought to her a farm.
Right.
So I want to tell managers outside there that consider women. Don't look at security. Look at women. Support them because women suffer and women are the champions of this economy. Right.
Now we're about to start to bring this conversation to a close. We have started the tail end. And let me engage your comments. Really such an avalanche of comments. Hopefully we are able to engage all of them. But is there a COP bank in Mbarara? And what is the interest rate? Because the circles are charging more than 30%. This is Kapere, who says, Stephen, would you want to answer that? Is there a cooperative bank in Mbarara? Because, and what is the interest rate? Because the circles are charging more than 30%.
Well, Kapere, thank you. I come from Shema, and I know that most of the circles in that region charge 2.5% on reducing balances. So 30%, I think it's a bit outside that range. But back to the question, as my colleague said, we have started the process of forming a cooperative bank. So we do not have that bank in place yet, although the process is progressing well. So there's no branch in Mbarara. It used to be there, of course. I was, by the way, I worked in a bank for a long time. I'm a professional banker. So when the cooperative bank, the former cooperative bank was closed in 1999, I was already in banking. It had a branch in Mbarara, but that branch closed as a result of closing the mother institution. But suffice to say that when this bank is up and running, our model of operation will not necessarily be opening so many what we call brick and mortar branches. No, as has already been said, we have a very big outlet. We have so many circles with branches. We have so many cooperatives with branches and structures. So we may, the model of operation which we are likely to start with is working through a few brick and mortar branches, but also working much more through agents.
Right.
The agents will be circles and other cooperatives.
So, Julie, in other words, the cooperative bank has just started. We are not yet into operations. So for those who are waiting, we shall be coming. Yes, and then the issue of charging interest by circles. I want to educate Ugandans. Some people don't know that circles are the cheapest. Because for them, their interest is their interest. They tell you. They don't have these hidden costs. And secondly, for them, they charge interest on a reducing balance. And Julie, even if you borrow the money from a circle today, the method we are using, then tomorrow you get your money back. Like you have sold your cow and you have the money. You pay back. The interest is charged for 1 day. That's the beauty with the circle. Unless compared to other financial institutions where they charge interest for the entire loan period and book it. Even if you pay back tomorrow, you pay the entire interest and principal. For circles, you only pay interest for 1 day at a reducing balance. So we need a lot. Because someone asked about public awareness. We really need to invest a lot in public awareness to educate Ugandans. And that is why I again say thank you, UBC, for this opportunity.
All right. Hello, good morning. This is Susan from Boyali. I would like to join. What can I do? Or what are the requirements needed to join the cooperative movement?
Oh, That one is easy. And so you look for a cooperative that is near you, whether SACCO, whether any other type of form of cooperative near you. And even now, there is the parish development model, there is a MYOGA, and we appreciate the government for this initiative of supporting the small holders to also to access. So wherever you are, you can even go to the district commercial officer of your district, and the commercial officer will guide you on which institutions are within your communities so that you can go and join them. Or in case you don't have, you can have a minimum of 30 people. You come together and form a SACCO or any other type of cooperative. So it is very easy to do that. Or you can even come to Uganda Cooperative Alliance. We will guide you. You can come to Ukusku in Maganjo. They will guide you. This is our work. Thank you.
Right. If a SACCO cheats and doesn't pay my salary after termination, where do I go for assistance? Let that be answered by you, Mr. Mugumya.
I hope this comes from an employee, an aggrieved employee of a SACCO. So he or she is asking. Yes, irrespective of the terms of disengagement, because, well, but he or she used the word cheating, meaning maybe that there's no problem on the side of the employee, but the SACCO has failed to pay back. We know we have grievance handling mechanisms. Of course, I expect that each SACCO has what we call a human resource policy, which defines exactly what happens in terms of separation. So if a SACCO, for example, terminates my services, it is bound to give, first of all, it is bound to give me notice. And by the way, these policies do not stand alone. They are enshrined in the Employment Act. And a policy cannot prevail over the Employment Act. So whatever you have in your employment policy must be consistent and comply with the Employment Act. So what I'm saying, termination has conditions. So if your services have been terminated unfairly by the SACCO, it should have given you notice. If it has not given you notice, then it should pay you money in lieu of notice. But of course, there are other things that the SACCO should consider, depending on how you agreed. And if the SACCO has unfairly terminated your services, it should pay you those benefits. But in case the SACCO does not pay, I think that's where the problem is. Then there is legal redress. You go to the probation officer, no, the employment officer. Yeah, we have labor officers, call them labor officers in the locality. That labor officer should be able to handle that case. In case the labor officer cannot conclude your case, then you proceed to the next step, which is you go for legal redress. You got courts of law. Yes.
All right. Indeed, it's time is against us, and we have to make room for Good Morning Uganda Extra. But allow me end this as I thank Mr. Ivan Asimwe, CPA Ivan Asimwe, who is the General Secretary of Uganda Cooperative Alliance, as well as Mr. Stephen Mugumya Bugonzia, who is the Vice Chairperson, Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit Union, for making it this Wednesday to educate Uganda. And ending this with a comment. Good morning, I'm watching from Uganda Matters University. Keep pushing for this bank because it's the best way to go, most especially for the smallholder farmers. If we want to make a meaningful statement of agriculture being the backbone of this country, we need cooperative banks. This is Mr. Ivan. Thank you for the presentation as well. Thank you so much for being on the show. Good Morning Uganda does continue with Extra, but for me, it ends here. We'll do this again tomorrow. And once again, I thank these two gentlemen who have come to talk about the cooperative movement in Uganda. Be a cooperator. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.